Hello, my name is Allan Green, and I've been guiding people through their past life and spiritual journeys for over 30 years. Welcome to Ontario, Canada. This is the home of the Goddess and the Green Man Crystal Earth Retreat. Catherine, my wife, being the goddess. I'm Allan Green Man, and we have all sorts of quartz veins and crystals that go through the whole area that keep the vibration high. Hence, Goddess of the Green Man Crystal Earth Retreat. Today I'm going to give a little 10-minute talk about what goes on during the session with me as far as past life and spiritual journeys. And nice thing about the 10-minute talk, you don't have to memorize it. It sort of answers a lot of questions you would have asked anyway, but it fills you in on the process, what happens and how it works. When I'm done with a little 10-minute talk, I ask the person what they want to find out. And sometimes they have long lists of things they want to find out. Often they say, well, geez, I never thought about that. I think I want to find out about this or that. Most cases people say, well, let's just see what happens. So with this experience, 98% of the people I work with usually have never done this before in their life. So sometimes people have what I call performance anxiety. They wonder if they're going to see anything or they're going to feel anything, whether it's going to work. Fortunately, usually it does. It's not like a reading. You're actually going to go back and see and feel your past lives. I'm going to go back and see and feel them with you. So I've been doing this work for over 30 years, and I have the ability to see what you see and feel what you feel. It's very logical that you would be a little bit nervous because, you're going into the unknown. But at the same time, your next breath is the unknown as well. So what happens is it's like two people watching a movie, and we're going to be discussing the movie. And Catherine, my wife, says often have fun at the movies. So I'm going to tell you everything I see and feel. You can tell me everything you see and feel. So through the whole thing, we're talking back and forth like a normal conversation, just with our eyes closed. Now, if you went back and just saw something, you'd forget it by tomorrow, like a dream. But because you're going to see it and you're going to feel it, it comes right up in front of you, stays with you for life. You never have to record these sessions. I've talked with people I worked with 10 years ago, remember, just like yesterday. So there's no hypnotism involved, no putting in some meditation state or trance. If you're deeply in a past life and you said, I have to go to the washroom, you can literally get up and go to the washroom, come back, and go right back into the past life. It's that smooth and simple. So I've got about a 95% success rate because it's not me doing the main work. It's my higher self and guides working with your higher self and guides. So when the person has decided to come to work with me, the guides have already planned what we're going to say and feel. So it takes a lot of pressure off everybody. And they might show us something totally different. And afterwards, you and I'd say, thank God they showed us that, because that's much more important than what we asked for. So who's in control today are you and your guides. I'm just the plug into the wall, so to speak. So there's amazing healings, awarenesses, sometimes even miracles that happen. I don't take any credit for that. I take credit for being a total focus and service for the person. I will take credit for working hard. So eventually a person lies down. There's a pillow underneath their knees because they're going to be lying for a while. I put a mask on people because the energy from the guides gets so high that even if your eyes have never fluttered before, they might start fluttering. So that seems to calm the eyes. And we're going to look around for your soul light too in a place of darkness, so you have to have a quiet, dark place for that as well. Then I say a prayer and we begin. And I ask the person to imagine themselves flying above the clouds, and the clouds are going to be a solid carpet below you. You cannot see down to the earth. And you have a choice. You can fly towards the sun above the clouds or the moon above the clouds. Some at the warmth of the sun, some at the coolness of the moon. So with this experience, you're always going to go with the very first thing you get. So you kind of got to get out of your head. Don't try and second guess yourself. You can stay on your emotions because you're going to be releasing. But 90% of this experience is feeling what you see through your heart. So when a psychic says they see a spirit around you, they don't really see that spirit, they feel that spirit. And if you go too much into your mind and start to overanalyze this process, everything will go black for me. I won't be able to see or feel anything, and I'll ask you to go back into your heart. So once you're chosen, you want to fly towards the sun or the moon above the clouds. It doesn't have to be very clear, just the feeling you're up there. I'll put my hand on top of your hand, and I'll go like this, and I'll say, now when you feel the time is right, you squeeze my fingers, the clouds will open up, and we'll float down into a past life together. As far as knowing when to squeeze my fingers, any time is right. Because sometimes I've been waiting for centuries to work with you. So whether you squeeze my fingers in 30 seconds or 30 minutes, they're still going to show you the same thing. So you squeeze my fingers, the clouds open up, and we start going down. On the way down, it's usually dark. You're probably not going to see a thing, so just enjoy the ride. I'm going to be floating down right beside you. It doesn't take long at all. At the very, very most, a minute, and you feel yourself kind of floating down and floating down. All of a sudden you feel yourself stop. You can't move any farther. But then you've landed in a past life. And I'll say to you, what do you feel you've landed on? Could have been sand, rock, concrete, wood, grass. Just give it out. Over to the feet. What are you wearing? Bare feet, sandals, boots, shoes. Then we'll start moving up the body. You'll see color. I'll see color too. You saw yourself as a young person, I would say, how old are you? 18. What year is it? 1456. It comes that fast and smooth. but I'm not going to be pressuring you on that. So as we're going down a cobblestone street, I might say, well, what country do you think you're in? You know, Allan, feels like Ireland. What year is it? 1821. The technical stuff is not that important, but what's really important is how you feel in the past life, what happens to you, and how that past life affects now. And there's no reason for doing past life work unless you understand how it affects you now. I've had over 20,000 individual journeys with people. I can tell you it definitely affects you now. So negative stuff doesn't happen very often. As we go over a hill, you and I feel this anxiety building. I'd say, hey, you want to go over that hill? No. Why? Because I think I get killed when I go over the hill. So we don't have to go there. Stay on this side of the hill, have an overview. What happened to you? Got ran over by a bus. Now, sometimes you're put into a bit of a traumatic situation, and it's extremely rare, but it's because you got a pain in your body that you've never been able to heal this lifetime by no doctor. And it comes from a past life, a wound. So we go back into past life, and we see that there's an arrow stuck in your shoulder. So we go back, take the arrow out, clear the wound, and there's been over, almost 1,000 people that have totally healed pain they've had their whole life because it comes from a wound in a past life. So that's not the main reason we're doing past lives, but if it comes up, it's nice to know that we can work on it and heal it by working through the guides. And you. So then, because I've been doing this work for a while, it's also evolved into a spiritual journey. Now the spiritual journey part is unlimited. You get into the realms of dragons and merlins and fairies and angels. It really has a tendency to boost you on your spiritual path. So some people have wings. We'll definitely see if you have any wings. They could be angel wings, they could be fairy wings. I've actually met 12 people who are dragons in human form, so you may have dragon wings. If they show us your inner child, it's because something stopped the inner child's growth. So it could have been abuse as a child, getting married, having your own child, someone dying. So we just start that child growing. I never know when they're going to show your inner child, but if they do, we'll get into it. As a part of every session, we go to meet your spirit guides. Yes, because spirituality has exploded on the planet, especially in the last 7 years. So it's kind of mandatory. So there's two lights. The first is your soul light. That's where your guides are. Then there's the veil to the other side. Then there's the bright light you go to when you pass over. So you go into your soul light. It's a wonderful place of unconditional love, safety, and protection. There's never any negative in there. And you can go back and be with your guides every day for the rest of your life if you want. Either using this little method we use to get to the guides, or just be with them. Because once you find out where your guides are, maybe one's there, one's back there, from that moment on, that's where they're going to be. Doesn't matter whether you're flying in a plane, driving in your car, sitting in a room. So we find out how many guides you've got. You might have 3 or 4. You might have just 1 or 2. We talk in our mind, we ask questions in our mind, and we feel the answer coming back, and I help you with that. Find out what they're doing for you, how they're helping you, and even their names. Then there's the veil to the other side. If anybody's passed over you want to talk with again, you can ask them to come and stand outside your light, and you can talk back and forth with them. So the past life stuff you won't forget. I'm going to write down little triggers, but the guides might be new. So I'm going to write down everything you say and feel about them, so you can take it home with you. Now sometimes, as a person who evolves spiritually, the guide that's helping them at a certain level is not as qualified as another guide. That guide might leave, and a more highly evolved one might come in. In that case, you'd go maybe 6 months down the road or a year down the road, you go, well, nothing's really changed in my life, but I really feel different. It's because maybe you've got a new guide. Because you've been to meet your guides with me, you can go back and check and see if you have a new guide. So that's the spiritual past life stuff thing. But first we're going to go down through the clouds to see what they want to show us. They've always got something special planned. Without even asking, they might show us the most important reason you came. Then you can find how you know somebody in a past life, like a friend, a relative, a mate. If you're having a conflict with somebody, it could have started in a past life. If you can clear it up in a past life, there's a possibility you can clear it up this lifetime. One lady had a fight with her mother. They hadn't talked in 9 years. Went back into a past life, and the fight in the past life was almost exactly like the fight they had this lifetime. And she got a chance to see her mother's point of view because she was kind of remote viewing it, and she forgave her mother. She saw her own point of view and forgave herself. The next morning, after 9 years of non-contact, the mother calls, and they're the best of friends now. So if you go back into a past life and you can heal it then, there's a possibility you can heal it now. If you have a fear or phobia of heights or water or snakes or something, it could come from a past life. One lady had 9 major allergies. When she came out of the past life, 7 of them disappeared, just from the awareness of where it comes from. So this is a self-healing process, and you are the only one who can really heal yourself. It's up to you. And with the help of me and your guides and whatever energies work that way. So then if you want to find out about your mission, there's a 90% chance you're already doing it in a past life. So we go see what that mission was, bring it forward, do it again. Or something even better. So that could be a spiritual mission where you're a channeler or a healer. You could be a channeler as far as mediumship or whatever. You could be a healer, and there's many people almost 1,000 people who have found they have certain abilities that they never knew they had, that they just bring forward and use with their family and friends and pets and even colleagues today. And there's been at least 24 people who have totally quit their job and are doing the teaching of what they learned full-time, manuals, courses, and everything else. So it's unlimited that way. And so basically that's the way that is. So, and another thing too is that if there's an issue in your childhood that is a problem that affects you now, they'll take you back there and they'll show you that issue, whether it's abuse or something you forgot. Because it's a past life experience, if it's a past life on another planet, I've seen 483 alien species and home planets. You can go back and find out what's the issue with that, and then come and see and correct it now. So it's unlimited, and you can go back and find out about a spiritual journey as far as a mission of getting back together with somebody. Maybe in a past life it didn't work out, and you give them another chance, and you have a contract for a certain period of time that if they don't shape up and get to love you and work it out well by a certain period of time, the contract's up. At that time you're supposed to leave. If you don't, you create bad karma, but often the universe gets in and switches things for you. So that's the past life and spiritual journey experience in a nutshell. My website is www.allangreen.ca. Allan Green is one word, ALLANGREEN.ca. And Catherine, my wife's website, is www.catherinegreen.ca, and Catherine is spelled CATHRYNGREEN.ca. So I hope this has been informative. It's an incredible, humbling experience. Even after 30 years, I'm fascinated by every time I do a past life. I learn something new, and I've learned so many things that I can't retire because I love the work so much. It's my passion. But at the same time, I've got all this knowledge that can really help people. So I love doing the work on a one-to-one and in group sessions too. Blessings. Exit stage right.